Hello, everyone. I am with you live. It is 2 o'clock or just after 2 o'clock on Tuesday, the 15th of July. That means it's Technique Tuesday. Hooray! And we're all going to learn something new today. I'm expecting maybe even me because I'm decided to do something today slightly out of the ordinary, where I'm going to show you how to use a particular product in ways that I've been using it. But I bet there's ways that it can be used or that you guys have been using it that I haven't even discovered yet. So I thought we'd share. I'll go first and show you what I'm doing, and then if anyone has any great ideas, we might try something different. Hello, Leslie. How are you? Hello, everyone. Hi, Siobhan, Barbara Lynn. Hello. Hi, Kerry. We have a great crowd here already. Thank you so much for joining me today, girls. It's cold today. It's only meant to get. I know. Some people would say, "Gosh, you guys, you're such sissies." Celsius it's supposed to get to 14 today, but it was like 6 when I got up this morning. It was cold. How's everyone else finding this? I mean, it is the middle of winter, right? All right. I'm going to get started pretty quickly. And guess what I'm going to play with today? I'm going to play with the Take Your Pick tool. And you're thinking, what can you do with that? Well, let me show you. I've got a couple of things I want to show you specifically. And also the new crafters tools, as they're called. They're actually called, are they called crafters tools? I think they are. Let's switch over to the desk and I'll show you in the catalogue where to find them and all about these. So is anyone, if you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, watch at your peril because you may want one by the end of this. And if you do have one, then we're all going to learn some ways that we might use it better. Okay, so I've got the crafters tool tips are these ones that have the perforating tool and the craft knife and some other, things that look like maybe you went to the dentist. They're a bit scary, a couple of these tools, but let's have a look and see how we can use them. All right, let's switch over. Okay, and I will make a card, at least one, with something that we do. You love your Take Your Pick tool, do you, Jen? Fantastic. I'm so glad. I find it's one of those things that if you have one, you use it all the time. And there's probably some people who are using other tools that will give them similar results. But I do find this a very good all-in-one tool. Now, having said that, I have, even though you can actually buy one tool and then just buy the attachments for it, I have 3. That's probably a little bit excessive. The one I use the most is this, the brush tip, and this has got a flat tool on the other end. Use yours all the time, Barbara. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? All right, and then the other end has like a pointy tool. It's a very, what would you call this? A paper piercing tool, I guess. But it's a sharp point. You need to be careful. When I store these, just a word of warning, I usually store it with that tip in so I can't accidentally poke myself, okay? Because it does hurt if you poke yourself. Oh, it's cold and windy down there on the south coast. Yeah, I know. It's just generally not, it's not what I would call optimum weather today. You wouldn't be without yours. Good, Cherie. All right, so when the Take Your Pick tool first came out, and this is what you got. Okay, now it does come, I've actually got an empty pack here. It comes in a little pack, and you have, let's see, I think it actually, I can't remember if that, yes, it does. It comes like this. Oh, and there's something missing out of here. Let me just quickly find it. Where is it? Oh, where's my stylus tool? Okay, so there is a stylus tool that also comes in here. And as luck would have it, mine seems not to be in the tray where it normally is, but that's okay. I'll find it as soon as this is over because that's how this works. All right, so there's a stylus tool that goes here and it has a thin, so it's just like the stylus that comes with your, like a simply scoring stylus, and it's got a thin end and a thicker end so that you can do your very soft paper and not so soft paper. Cardstock, you can use either the thick or the thin end, but if you're wanting to score on DSP, then you don't want to use the skinny end because it's easy to cut through the paper. Okay. So Lani says she uses hers all the time, but mainly for Diamantes. Yep. Okay. And that's what this end is for. Okay. So the first incarnation of the Take Your Pick tool was the Take Your Pick tool. It has one end. It had a spare end, a second putty tool over here. Okay. Second one, and the scoring tool with the two different scoring ends. Okay. That's what you got when we first had the Take. It's been around for a few years now too, I think. So most people know about this. So if I wanted to so if you're looking page 102 of the catalog, it explains what, actually I'll read it. It says, what is the Take Your Pick tool? It's a precision picker upper. Okay, more specifically, it's a multi-purpose tool with a sticky putty tip that helps pick up and place sequins, paper accents, and other small objects. The other end has three changeable tips with even more uses. And so it's talking about these down here. Okay. So I tend to use the pointy one and the putty one the most often with this one. But because I don't use the putty end as much as I use the brush tip, this was the second thing that we had added. Okay. You got the brush tip, and the brush tip came with 2 foam pads, okay, so that you could run over a die cut and push out all the little pieces really, really easily. You pop your piece of paper down here, very intricate dies. They've got all the pieces stuck still inside. Just run this over it a couple of times, backwards and forwards, or however you want to do it, and immediately the pieces pop out. So it's super, super useful. Hey, Susan, nice to see you. Hi, Jolene, nice to see you too. Oh, we have a good crowd. Hi, Denise. Hi, Kathleen. All right. So, yeah, that's what you would use the brush tip for. And the brush tip and the pointy one are the ones that I have in my Take Your Pick tool almost all the time. Okay. So if you don't, you don't very often need to use all of these at once. So having one Take Your Pick tool is probably enough, and then just buy the accessories that you need. Okay. And I haven't got to the third lot of accessories yet. However, because I'm using mine all the time, I just ended up buying 3 Take Your Pick tools and just keeping on the ones. I don't very often take this brush tip off. Okay. So then last year they went and released this. Okay. Now I've already put this one on here. Let me just take it out again. This is a perforating tool. Okay. Can you see it there? Okay. A perforating tool, and it's got like a little protecty thing. So when that's out, it actually means you can't hurt yourself on it. Okay. And then it's relatively sharp. It's not super sharp, but it's sharp enough that you could cut yourself if you didn't have that out. Okay. So you need to make sure that when I store it, I always have the plastic guard on. Okay. And then when I'm using it, I pull it back. Okay. So that's how that goes. Then there's also in here a craft knife. Now, back in the days, before I had a trimmer, I just had a craft knife and nothing else. Okay. And it is sharp. All right. In fact, I think I might have just cut myself on it. Yeah, I did. I did cut myself on it. Oh my gosh. Because my lid was on so tight and I pulled it off in a hurry. So I've just managed to cut myself, and I'm just going to grab a tissue because I don't want to bleed all over everything. Well, that's proving a point. See what I did? Oh my gosh. They couldn't make this stuff up, right? So, okay, so that is the tip, and make sure you keep your lid on except when you're using it. What a silly thing to do. But I proved the point. It's sharp, okay? So I didn't do that on purpose, I promise. Now, this one is the one that looks you've got a very thin pointy. I know, Cherie. Oh, dear. All right, so very thin. Now, this one is a lot thinner than the one that comes here. Sorry, just got to dab this every now and then. I probably should get a Band-Aid. Oh, my gosh. All right, so I don't know if you can see the difference. Maybe. One's a lot thicker than the other. Can you see the difference in those? So, a couple of different things. If I was, for example, trying to put maybe some holes in a project that I wanted to add stitching to. Some of you may have done this before. You add stitching, actually literally make some holes and then do some faux, well, it's not faux stitching, it would be real stitching with some thread, you want to use the bigger one, so you can actually get the thread through the holes easily. This guy is much, much finer, okay, and that one wouldn't be so good for adding thread. It would be very difficult. All right, so I'm going to put the lid back on that one because we've just discovered that these tools are sharp. I know, I am dangerous. I'm a danger to myself. Oh my gosh. All right, so then we've got all these other bits and pieces. I'll put this one back in here. All right, trying to keep all the bleeding off the table because I don't want to bleed on my projects. Oh my gosh. All right, so can't believe I did that. All right, so this is one you'll be able to remember, right? All right, so the Take Your Pick tool here in Australia, for anyone who's wondering, and it comes with the putty end and a spare putty end, the stylus, and the flat end and the pointy, the pokey, what I call a pokey tool. That one is $21 with all those bits and pieces. And then the crafter's tips, which has 3 specialty tips, that is $37 if you wish to add it on. Okay, so that's got the hobby blade, the Take Your Pick tip, and the rotary perforating tip. So this one that looks like a dentist tool would be good if you need to hook something, right? If you need to hook something through, maybe pull some thread through a hole or something like that. That would be good for that. Okay, so that's a good little thing. Okay, the crafter's tool, even though it's now scared me, I am going to use that in a minute. It does look like a torture kit. I know, right? Hello, Anne. You missed all the excitement. Probably a good thing. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. So we've got our blade. We've got our bits and pieces. So I will show you a couple of examples, which I have got. For example, I've got some examples here. This is just some sequins, and we've spilled a couple of sequins out onto our desk here. Okay, you can see they're very easy to spill. Put the lid back on so I don't spill any more. All right, so if I wanted to pick these up now, the reason I actually did this today and what made me decide to do it is I've got these nails that need to be, can you see how bad they are? They actually need to be taken off. And they were a birthday present to myself. I got my nails done, okay, which was over a month ago now. So really they're becoming too long. They're thick and they're too long for me to work with, and trying to pick literally, that one I was able to pick that one up. But if, you know, it's a struggle to pick these up, okay? And that's when I thought I better use my Take Your Pick tool so I can easily pick them up. All right, so you take your lid off, and this is the putty end. Can you see it there? So it's actually pushed out a little bit, but you can wind it down if it's bothering you out like that, okay? And it just really easily picks up these little things, okay? So if you've got something on your desk, like I think Lani said, diamantes or sequins, super easy to pick them up, okay? No, don't do it with your craft knife. No, I think we've all learned something today. I have. I've just learned how sharp that craft knife is. I poked myself with it. Goodness me. I'm just keeping a bit of paper towel handy in case I need to give it a dab every now and then. Well, that was fun. Okay. All right. So gives you a bit of an idea. Okay. I hope anyway. And so very, very easy to pick up sequins with you Take Your Pick tool and the putty end, and that's really what it's for. It's for people who either don't have any fingernails to pick stuff up off the desk, or your nails are like mine and they become very unwieldy. No, I won't be doing it with my craft knife, Cherie. Will not be. Don't use sequins that much, no, but there might be other things that you do from time to time. For example, in the Christmas catalogue, last year they had some beautiful little packs like this, but beautiful packs of loose sequins. Quite often we have loose embellishments, and when we have those, you need a way to pick them up easily. those snowflake loose sequins last year were just beautiful, and I used them for like shaker cards and things like that. But at some point when you're trying to get them into the shaker, some end up on your desk and you need to be able to pick them up easily. So so that's what. Oh, you weren't sure what the putty was for? Well, now you know. There you go. I'm glad I got to answer that question for you. Awesome. Thank you, Cherie. That is true. Cherie said, let's put that up because I do like that post. Seriously sharp. This is the craft knife we're talking about, but absolutely wonderful if you stick to the purpose which it's designed for, which is not self-surgery. Correct. You know what? It's so sharp it didn't even hurt that much. It just did its job a little bit too easily. So there we go. Let's pull that down. Okay. So the brush is absolutely fantastic for getting things out of very, very quickly, easily getting things out of dies. Okay. And for example, let's find one. The Beautiful Butterflies dies is one that's got lots of intricate pieces. Okay, so the little guys here have got some intricate pieces, but this one particularly, I mean, in fact, not that I prepared it earlier, but it's still got some in from before. Can you see that? So super easy just to run that over the top and they just all fall out. Okay, and I find you can do it on the mat or you can just do it in the air like what I'm doing, and I just sort of flick it over and out they all come. Now they're all gone. So that's really good. And the same with the paper pieces. So for example, you've just cut out a piece of paper and now you need to actually sorry, I'm distracted. I'm so sorry. I'm distracted because I'm trying to dab at my hand. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. So this is a good example of an intricate die that you might need to use your brush tip with. Okay. Oh, thanks, Marilyn. Good point. Maybe I should include, so if you're giving one as a gift, you should maybe include antiseptic wipes and Band-Aids. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Oh, dear. I'll have to clean up my desk when I'm done. I'm not going to show you what the mess I've made over on the desk over here. Goodness me. All right. Okay, so that's just an example of how you would use the brush tip. This is the one that always stays in here for me because I need that all the time. The other one, of course, is the pokey tool on the end, the sharp one. All right. So I really should, if I would stop and get a Band-Aid, but I don't want to leave you that long because I don't, in fact, I think we're out of Band-Aids because I think I used up the last one the other day for something else. So I think we might be out. Can't even remember. It's the sort of thing you shouldn't let yourself run out of, right? All right, so I am going to show you the craft knife again, and this time what I'm going to do, what I did wrong was I tried to take, I'll tell you what I did wrong. I took the lid off while still holding this, and it's actually quite, now of course I didn't put the lid on as hard, it's not as hard, but I had it on very tight. So that's why when I pulled it out, it actually went where it shouldn't have. It would have been better if I had put it first into the Take Your Pick tool, screwed it on, and then removed it. That's much safer, okay? Oh, washi tape. I don't know if it'll stop it because it's actually bleeding quite quickly, so I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm just going to proceed. All right, so I want to show you something that some of you may have seen me do this in a video once before, but I'm going to do it now. And it's a really great way of, a craft knife is a really, really useful thing if you're wanting to make a slit in something. So you don't want to cut it with your scissors because it's actually really hard to get the scissors in. But this kintsugi paper, I'm actually going to... give me one moment. I'm just going to move it out of the way. So we have this beautiful paper, okay, and it has matching dies called Inspiring Inspiration. Inspiring Imperfections is what it's called. And it's all this lovely stuff. And it matches, we have dies that match these. So if I was to cut out one of these, actually I'm wondering if I should cut out more than one. Just a second, I'm going to cut that out. And then we're actually going to perform a little bit of surgery with our craft knife. So the craft knife is great for performing surgery on different kinds of things. Things that you need to pop little slits in that scissors won't quite do it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut one of these and you'll see what I mean. So I'm cutting a little bowl. So I've got a blue bowl here. And I'm also going to use this little guy here. And we're going to cut from the same paper. Everything on that particular paper sheet cuts out, which is super useful. So I'm also going to cut out a flower. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, we've got this flower that I've just cut out. And see, there's the flowers, and then there's the large vases and the small vases. And they're super nice. And you can make a beautiful card with these. Now, if you have a glass mat, you can use your craft knife straight on the glass mat. Okay, I'm just going to grab another piece of paper towel. All right. So what I want to do is I want to put my flower into my bowl. So I could put the bowl on top and put the flower underneath if I wanted to. It's kintsugi, is that right? Am I saying it right? Kintsugi, I think. And thanks. So if I put like this, see how this is the open part of the bowl? Or maybe you can't. Let me hold that up. Okay, so can you see that? Oh, it's quite hard. There we go. It's focusing. All right. Can you see that? You can see the inside of the bowl. So we actually want our flower, the stalk of the flower, not to be behind that because it'll look like it's behind the bowl. Instead, we want it to actually look like it's coming out from inside. So what we do, we grab our very sharp knife, and you can use your glass mat, or you could use you don't want to do it on a you could use like a thick pad of paper or something like that underneath, even post-it notes, but you don't want to do it on a desk that you are going to cut into because it really is very sharp. And we're going to go along that top line there of our bowl. And I've just realized it might be better if I turn the light on. Wouldn't that be nice? Is that better? It creates more of a reflection, but it might be easier for you to see what I've done. All right. So can you see that now I've created a slit in the middle there that my flower can go down into? So it now looks like it's coming out of the bowl. Can you see that? So it's not behind the bowl, it's actually going down into it. And that's really cool. That knife rolling around without a lid. Yes. Let me find the lid for it and carefully put that back on. Thanks, Cherie. Thanks for looking after me. The question is, somebody asked a question. Lani would like to know how to get the putty up. It's a screw. You screw it up. And it's sometimes something I did find was like you actually screw this in and that pushes it up more. However, so this whole thing screws, right? Sometimes it doesn't come out straight away. That's what happened with this one. So I kept going for a while until the putty started to come up, but then I had screwed it too much and it just kept coming and coming and coming. So it ended up being a lot longer than I wanted it to be. But if that happens, you just sort of just roll it back down again and it'll be okay. All right. So if you're going to use this, just say you want your flower coming out of the bowl like that, turn it over hold it in place, grab yourself a dimensional, okay, and we're going to pop that right there like that, and that's going to hold the flower in place as well as providing, you know, a bit of dimension as you'd expect. All right, so I'm going to pop another one there, and so that actually holds your flower in place. So I'm going to sit that just to one side for a second, and then we'll make a card with it. What do you think? Would that be good? Yours oozes in the heat. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Yes, you can. You can buy the tips by themselves. So the question was asking about refills. So the Take Your Pick Crafters tips come by themselves. The Take Your Pick putty refill is only $8.75, and it comes with 2 replacement putty tips. So yes, you can buy refills for these. Okay, so that's really good to know. The Take Your Pick die brush tip here in Australia is $23, and that gives you the brush head that you screw in, and also the 2 foam mats. Okay, so you get 2 foam mats in a pack. As it says here, I like the way they worded this. Is the die brush tip necessary? Answer: not if you have the time and the patience to weed out your die cuts by hand. Otherwise, the die brush will help you cut down weeding time. So basically, they're saying, no, it's not necessary. Not if you don't want to be driven mad by having to get all those little pieces all the time. So basically, that's how they worded that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. You can see here they've got the die there, and they're actually going over the back of it to get all the little pieces out. I think that's down the bottom here. That's really handy. And that's the one, like I said, that's the one I use the most. All right, so let's just do a couple of little things with this tip. Okay, I'm going to keep the lid on that and leave it right there for now. Okay, and I'm going to leave the craft knife where it is because I don't want to handle it too much. And don't trust myself. I'm sure you guys are probably much smarter than me when it comes to that stuff. All right, so pull the guard back so that comes out. Now we can do a number of things with this. Is if you want to create perforations. So and I would probably do it on like a paper piercing tool, paper piercing mat. And you can get yourself a nice perforated edge. Really good for the look of like tickets or something you want to rip off, like a bookmark that has an extra piece on the bottom that you can rip off, that kind of thing. I've also seen them done where with a card, and the card front has a perforation and you can tear off part of it and create a bookmark. Has everyone seen those? That looks really good. So sanity returns. Was it ever here, Cherie? That's the question, right? So I also think if you're going to do a straight line with this, you want to have a good ruler. I have always made sure I had a steel ruler. Now, back in the days before I had a trimmer, when I hadn't, didn't know what the heck I was doing, I used to use my craft knife and a steel ruler to actually do a lot of my cutting. Okay, I can't believe I did that because trimmers make life so much easier. But the reason I use a steel ruler is because you can't nick bits out of it. Okay, not like you can with a plastic ruler or a wooden ruler. You're gonna nick bits out of it. You love your die brush? Me too. Okay, so if I wanted to create like a little perforated piece here for this piece for some reason, you would actually hold it, make sure the guard is back. You can go up against the ruler and just follow that line straight down. And you can go backwards and forwards once or twice if you want to. All right, so I don't know if you can see, but now we've got this perforated edge, and you could easily, rip that off if you wanted to. Okay, so it gives you, good for the look of tickets and things like that. We do actually have, and I pulled this out before we started, we have the Happy Labels, I think they're called, Pick a Punch. And you can see that it actually has, can I see, the look of perforations, like little ticket pieces. Okay, now that actually is to that's not how it comes out. This is just to show that you can use this with a 1/2 inch, a 3/4 inch, or a 1 inch strip of paper. But just say, let me grab a piece here. that I have a 1-inch piece of paper, and I wanted to create that look with the little, it just gave me an idea of, you know, and I've got a 1-inch piece, and then I could come in here because these look a bit like tickets to me. Oh, hang on, it would help if I opened the punch. And see how we got like a ticket kind of a look. So now I could come in here and do some, which way would I go? I don't know. Which way would you do? A ticket this way? Probably. Maybe we go halves, and you know, you could have some coming off for, you know, admit one. Okay, and now we've got a perforated edge here. Okay, so just gives you a bit of thinking that you could do to create a perforation on something that you'd like. The most common way I've seen is like the bookmarks on the front of cards that you pull the bookmark off. That's a nice look. Well, there you go. Now you know, Maggie. Yeah, steel rulers are the best, Nairi. I'm glad that you have one of those. They're great. All right. Let me pull that out. I'm going to make a card, and we've got this little guy here, which I think is really pretty. And I've got deciding, do I want, thinking what kind of thing will I do? I think maybe I'd like a circle behind my piece here. And I'm also going to use some of this beautiful kintsugi paper. Has everyone seen the kintsugi paper? Sorry, kintsugi. I keep saying it wrong. I just can't seem to quite get the hang of saying the soft G. All right, so this is a new pack I have. Yes, a gift card. That'd be a great thing to do, Maureen. What a great idea. All right, so this is, I'll open it this way because this is where the pretty side is. This is all the gorgeous. These are gorgeous. They really are. Okay, so we've got front and back as always. And the colors in here, we've got vanilla, white, we've got gold foil. We've got Misty Moonlight. There's Misty Moonlight with some gold right there. The back of that one, we've got some petal pink. This is very pretty. What else have we got? Actually, let me turn these over so they're going to be in the same order I had them before. This is like the separate pieces of putting back together the beautiful pottery pieces with the gold. And this is cloud cover, this color. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Every time I see this paper, I just love it. It didn't grab me when I first saw it. It wasn't the first thing I gravitated towards, but I have just become a real fan. I like this swirly one. This reminds me of Starry Night. You know, the Van Gogh Starry Night. I love that. That's what it reminds me of. And then we have, this is the one I've cut the piece out of, okay. I've cut one of these little Misty Moonlight ones, but you can see all the colors in there. There's Lost Lagoon, Petal Pink, Basic Beige is a big star in this paper. Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, White, Gold, Vanilla. And the back of that one is cloud cover as well. And then this one is like a cherry blossom pattern. Really, really pretty. And then on the back of that, you've got petal pink swirls, which is also really nice. Deciding what to have, which colors I like with this. I'm thinking I'm going to, actually, you know what? I'm going to go with the bigger circle. And I'm going to cut myself a bigger circle, and I'm going to use a blending brush most likely behind that. Oh, I didn't quite cut that properly. Never mind. Let me just fix it with my scissors. I could have used my craft knife, I suppose. But I'm just going to cut that. Did everyone hear the sad news that paper snips are no longer available? These guys, the company that was manufacturing them is not making them anymore. So Stampin' Up! Is trying to find a new manufacturer, which hopefully will happen sooner rather than later, because a good pair of scissors is kind of a necessary item. Oh, now I've stuck this to... Seriously? What am I doing today? And I must have pushed it down pretty hard too. Let's see if I could poke myself with the scissors. I'm having one of those days, I think, you guys. I hope everyone still loves me after this. Okay, let's grab another one of those. Pop that there, and let's move. That's why I shouldn't take the backs off them until I'm ready. All right, I'm deciding what colors I would like to use. I'm thinking maybe the cloud cover. I really like the cloud cover. That's really beautiful, that paper. And then I'm thinking this is going to go on here, but I want to have some, probably, I'm thinking Petal Pink or Lost Lagoon behind that. So I'm trying to pick colors because there's Lost Lagoon stems, pretty Petal Pink flowers, and Misty Moonlight. So I'm thinking what color is going to look really good behind that, or even cloud cover. You know what? I might go with cloud cover. That might look good. Let's see. Now, cloud cover is a new color, and it's a color that there's been some issues with the manufacturer. So that's very sad. Is it the cold day? Is that what it is? I'd like something to blame. But really, if I'm honest, it's probably just me. If I'm really, really honest. So I'm just going to get rid of some ink on here. And then I'm going to just quickly come in here and we'll add some color behind. Such a pretty color. I'm so sad that the ink pad has had so many challenges. The solution has been, it was made available to demonstrators. I'm not sure if as demonstrators we can still buy this ink pad, possibly. But the refill is available, and you can put the refill into the felt pads we have, because it's actually the way the color interacts with the foam pads that's causing the problem. Some chemistry thing that I don't really understand. Now I'm going to put another one of these up here. We all have days like that. Thank you for your understanding. All right, so that is how this is looking, and because I haven't taken the back off that one yet, it works better when you take the back off it, as we know. All right, so that's really pretty. All right, and then we're going to have, shall I do a landscape card or shall I do a portrait card? I'm thinking landscape. How does everyone feel about that? Do you think you bought one in your last order? Still available, comes under last chance. Yes, thank you, Lorraine. I'm thinking that, actually, I've just changed my mind about the color. Sorry, about the layout. So I'm going to go, this is 9 centimeters across, and I'm going to go about 13 and a half. Actually, maybe a bit less. Let's go 12 and a half. Try that. Actually, I'm going to do 12, because then I can evenly divide it into 3 segments, 4 centimeters each. So this is 4 and another 4. Now, one of the things I love about this paper, I've become a big fan, and even more recently, of Basic Beige. I absolutely love Basic Beige. It didn't, initially I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know. I didn't warm to it straight away, but I have now come around to loving it and using it a lot. So I'm going to grab a piece of Basic Beige, and that's going to be our card front size. So I'm going to have, this is going to be card front size, which is 10 centimeters by 14.3. All right, and then I'm going to put these 3 pieces. I could put them on dimensionals and create a bit of shadow, which would look nice, but I'm just thinking which way these go. And that one in the middle. Okay, so it's going to have like 3 pieces like this, and then the layer I want to have this here, and then we're going to have a greeting over here. Okay, it looks pretty, doesn't it? Isn't that nice? All right, so let's get these down. You could put them on dimensionals, like I said, create a shadow, but I'm just going to glue mine straight down. You've warmed to it as well. I know, me too. At first I thought, oh yeah, it's another neutral, it's nice. I didn't realize how much I'd be using it. I just have found it so useful. So I'm going to put this over here, and where to put it, I'm having about the same amount of distance at the top as I do at the side and at the bottom. So it's sort of those 3 pieces, and I'm going to do this one at the other end, same place, same amount of distance away from the top and the sides and the bottom. So that's going to go right about there. Looks good. Okay, and then this piece literally just goes in the middle, so it's the same distance away from each of those pieces. Come on, I need to use something to get under there, because my fingernails aren't working very well. So if your fingernails don't work very well, either because you've got silly big fat fingernails like mine, or because you don't have nails, one or the other, take your pick is going to be your best tool, your best friend. All right, so there's my 3. Whoop, that's the only problems with the liquid glue. It moves if you don't give it enough time. All right, so that's about right. Those 3 pieces right there. And then this piece is going to go here. And let me get a couple of these. I need a new sheet of dimensionals because I'm coming to the end of that sheet. This one's not far off either. Thankfully, I've got new sheets in the cupboard, in the drawer. And if you know, once again, the fingernails, you can always use your, I actually find for this, the pokey tool is easier rather than the flat tool. It gets under them really easily. So that's another good use for them as well. All right, so about the same amount, top and bottom. Actually, let me try that again. Okay, all right, so now we could use whatever we like. There is like a banner or whatever you like to add a greeting here. But we've got this that looks like a piece of ripped paper. Have you noticed this one? That's a really great one. I'm going to cut that, and then we'll add our greeting. All right, so I've got this one right here, and deciding what there are really nice in this piece, in the matching set, which is called the same name, Imperfect Inspirations. No, sorry, say again, Inspiring Imperfections. Getting it around the wrong way. So this one is the set that goes with it. There's some really nice ones. There is Beauty in Your History, You Inspire Me, which is the one I've been using the most. There's a thanks for helping me get through this difficult time. I know you'll get through this and be stronger for it, and I'm here for you. Really, really beautiful set, don't you think? It's really lovely. And I always pick a darker color for my sentiments, so I could go with the Misty Moonlight, or you could even go with navy if you wanted to. And I've realized I've packed those up ready for tomorrow's class. So In the absence of those, I'll use my marker because they're already packed away. It's always interesting just before I have a big class the next day. Do I want, which one shall I use? What do you think? The branch dies, yes. Yeah, they're for the cracks in the pottery. Okay, these to create cracks. And you could cut them from like gold foil to make them look like, because the whole point of this particular, this concept, the kintsugi concept, is that pottery makers would actually fix broken pottery with gold and make a feature of it rather than trying to hide or, you know, just glue it back together. So that is the reason. Should I go with the, yes, you could make it into branches to go in the vase. You could do that as well. I've got You Inspire Me here again. I think that's the one I like the best and the one I keep pulling out. So I'm going to go for that. And I'm using my, I normally would just ink it up. Oh, I might even have a stamping spot handy. I do. I have a navy stamping spot. That would be better than using a marker. And the spots are good for that little size ink powders, that little size stamp as well. Put the lid back on. And then we'll use a couple of dimensionals under there. It's actually been quite a challenging, have to tell you, quite a challenging video to make because I'm trying to do everything with one hand. I don't know if everyone realizes this. I can't believe I was so... Do I want it to go over the top or underneath? What do we think? Over the top or underneath? Does anyone see? Yeah, I think it's nice. One hand and two fingers. I know, right? Exactly. I'm using these two. Oh, look. I think it's going to go over the top. And Anne said top. Oh, Valerie said under. All right. So that's looking really good. It will need some bling and it will need, should we put it on a white? Here's the next question. A white card base or a darker, maybe a Misty Moonlight card base? Hard to know. I am deciding. So let's see. That one's too. This is the Misty Moonlight if we we're going to go with that. The Misty Moonlight is quite nice, isn't it? Do we think? The Misty, says Donna. Okay. All right. Done. Thank you. And the funny thing is now that I've been holding my hand a particular way, I'm getting a cramp in that hand. So really the elements are against me today. It really is, like I said, it's challenging. Anyone would think I'm doing it just, you know, for sympathy value and making you all feel sorry for me. It really isn't. I'd really rather that didn't happen. It's kind of amusing, actually. Oh my gosh. All right, let's use that. Everyone says Misty. So we made the... Thanks, Cherie. Thanks. I bleed for you too. I don't think anyone wants to see it, so I'm trying to keep it out of the camera. Keep it away from, you know, keep it away from the eyes. I don't want to put everybody off. The bit I missed was me actually telling everyone how sharp the craft knife was and then managing to cut myself with it. That's what you missed, and that's why I can't use my other hand. All right, so the last thing I want to do with this card is I want to add some bling. And I'm just looking to see what I have. Here we go. So this is the Kintsugi, the matching bling that goes with this set. Look, see my hand is cramped. I can't actually straighten it. Okay, so let me try and then I'm going to use my take your pick tool, the pointy end, and I'm going to pick. This is the best way to pick these guys up. All right, so you pop that under there, and I'm going to have one over here. Actually, do I want one over there? No, I don't. I'm going to have one. Which side? Maybe this side? Okay. I'm only going to put it on lightly because I might decide to move it. And then, come on. Pick that up. And then I want two over here. Little guys. And these are really pretty. What are they called? Does anyone know? They're called flower accents. Super pretty. And they've got, these are part of this same suite. I think that's the right place for them. What do I need? Magnesium. I do. I actually put magnesium. I spray my feet with magnesium several times every night before I go to bed. And it helps me sleep better, and I don't have cramps or restless legs when I sleep. So that has been hugely helpful. But I think it's the cold weather today. So thanks, Cherie. Yeah, we don't want to bleed to death. Definitely not. Oh my goodness. So, and the other thing I would do, because this is a slightly darker color, is I would also put an inside piece and insert in there. So let's do that. So I'm going to cut this piece for the inside to be 10 centimeters. Whoop. Didn't press hard enough. 10 centimeters by 14.3 is the right size for this. And then if you wanted to, you could add a stamped piece over this edge. So for example, this little flower is the same as the one that is on the outside, but it's the stamped version. Also matches the die though. Okay, so we could put that on there. And let's grab the block, pop that on. And I'm just going to have it maybe in this corner. Which way do I want it to go? I don't know which way I want it to go. And I'm thinking, do I want to go? Maybe I'll go Lost Lagoon. Although there's no Lost Lagoon anywhere else in the card, so maybe not. Maybe I should do, I thought about doing Petal Pink. But I've already packed my Petal Pink away, you guys. So we're just going to do a cloud cover one. Thanks for all your helpful suggestions, Cherie. Oh my gosh. Well, I won't forget this one in a hurry. So I just want everyone to take pity on me, obviously. Yes. Oh my gosh. Alrighty. Let's get this piece inside. And then we've got plenty of room to write, and it's something to take the design on the outside of the card. We'll carry it over to the inside, which I always think is nice. I would also suggest that you do this with the envelopes too. If you're using an envelope with, our envelopes are actually beautiful envelopes for anyone who's never used them. You get a pack of, is it 40? I think it's 40 envelopes. They are C6 size, and they are super, it has slowed down. It's not bleeding as much. So yay. You can decorate the back of your envelopes to match your cards as well. And absolutely beautiful. They stamp on beautifully. So there we go. We have a card that we made. We have our craft knife has opened up this piece so we could pop our flower inside, and it looks lovely. Don't you think that's nice? You're having a lot of fun with this. Thanks, Cherie. Thanks so much. Super glue would work indeed. Yep. So there we go. We actually have a card that we used our craft knife for, and we actually used the Crafter's Toolkit to make it. And I think if you do have one of these craft knives, you'll find there's a lot of things you can do for it, with it, sorry. But it's the sort of, you do need to be careful because as we all found out today, it is sharp, okay? So who doesn't have a take your pick tool and who's thinking maybe they should get one? Anyone thinking about that? You weren't joking about that. Yes, I did. I don't like that comment because I haven't had a tetanus shot for, I can't even remember, probably since I was a kid. So, yeah, I haven't. And I'm not worried because this is brand new and it should be fine. Should be fine. I know she's had a lot of fun with me today, Maureen. At my expense. But lucky I know she loves me, or it might be different, but yeah. So what do we think? Do we like our Crafter's Pick tool? The Take Your Pick tool, it's called. Like I said, it is fantastic. You can just, if you buy it just as it is, you'll get the basics, you'll get the putty end, you'll get the scoring tips, and you'll also get the flat end and the pokey tool. So just as it is, it's super, super useful. But if you want the extra tips, like the brush die tip or the foam mat that comes with the brush tip, that I find that super, super helpful. And then these other ones are nice to have. Okay, so these guys, the ones that have the super sharp knife and the perforating tool, and it comes in this little kit like this. All right, so you can, I'm just going to, without taking the lid off, I'm going to take that out. And also the other one that I'm missing is here on the desk somewhere is the perforating tool, which will be underneath this big mound of stuff that I've got over here on my right-hand side. So here it is. There it is. So I knew it couldn't be too far. And looks like, I'm just going to push that back up again and slide it in there. I keep these in their little thing and just pull them out if necessary. Okay. I have used the crafting knife, the sharp crafting knife. I've used that several times lately to do this technique where we're sliding something inside something. I find that really great. What do we think of the card? Do you like the card? You still use the old piercing tool. You know what? So do I. I've still got the old piercing tool as well. And this does actually have, I've still got it. It has the tip that protects the end as well. Once again, you don't want to poke yourself with that either. So it has a little tip that you try and keep on the end there. Put that, oh, let me try not to poke myself with that. All right, so that also has a little protection measure as well. But I don't think we sold these anymore, okay? Oh, did you? Oh, Louise, Denise, I feel so much better now. So much. Oh, thanks, Jen. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you found it entertaining today. It couldn't not be entertaining, right? Can you see what I did? I actually gave myself a bit of a nasty cut. But I'm off to, at least it stopped bleeding now, so that's good, just in time for us to say goodbye. I will be back again on Friday night. I hope that you all have a really great week. I've got the next 3 days really, really busy. So tomorrow I have my all-day card making day in the Hunter Valley. And then on Thursday, I'm going back up there again because we've got the first day of our virtual scrapbooking retreat, which I'm also doing up there as well with a couple of my ladies who have purchased it. And then Friday might be going back up there again. We're going to see how Thursday goes and see if we need to go back Friday to do some more together. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. So I've got a few really cool days coming up with lots of crafting happening, both cards and scrapbooking. So super happy with that. Yeah, so the perforating tool is sharp tool. I'm glad you didn't need a transfusion, Denise. That's fantastic. Me either. Rose has been watching and laughing. I'm so happy. I'm so glad you guys have got a good sense of humor, and yeah. Thanks, everyone. All right. So go have a fantastic afternoon. Maybe get some crafting in. And I hope you have a good few days. I'll see you again on Friday night. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.